本期主讲人来自财务部的达利亚，她围绕财务报销、涉税业务、各种单据等进行了讲解，重点介绍了企业所得税、增值税、预扣税、个人所得税等计算方法和注意事项，并就大家关心的养老金有关问题进行了互动交流。
晚上好。Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Finance Department Team Building English class. As Zahia said, my name is Dalia Kapambwe. Just an introduction. Finance Department is in charge of managing the company's finances, meaning we manage the money for the company. We record all the money that is coming in and leaving the company. I have some keywords that I have prepared here today. My first word is request. To request is to ask officially. For example, if I'm just talking to Mr. Maxwell here, I'm asking him to do something, we're just talking, it's not official. But when you use the word request, you are asking the person officially. It is used in a formal environment, like at work. The next word is authorize. So to authorize is to give official permission. Maybe you make an official request and you're given permission officially. For example, a department comes to request for money to pay for an item, and the CEO authorizes finance department to pay for that item. The next word is obligation. So an obligation is a duty, something that you just have to do. You have no choice. So for example, we say the Chambishi Smelter has an obligation to pay tax to ZRA. The fourth word is transfer. To transfer is so you take something from one place to another place. And then analyze. You have a lot of information, like a lot of data, examining it closely, checking everything closely, so that you can be able to explain it better. The sixth word is describe or description. To describe is to give an explanation of a person or an item. Number 7, the word is purpose. Purpose is just a reason. What is the purpose of this payment requisition? The purpose is to pay for security at the Ganaton complex. Number 8, the word is difference. So one thing about the English language is one word can mean many different things. It depends on the situation that you are using that word in. Yes. In the financial context, yes, difference means if you have two amounts. Yes. What if they ask you what is the difference? Different means they are not alike. The next one is value. How much is something worth? The number 10 word is to calculate mathematically. You're making calculations. You are finding the total or finding the difference, something like that. That is what it means to calculate. Number 11 is balance. Today, balance, I want to use it in the financial term. Balance means the amount that you are yet to pay or the amount that you are yet to receive. Here, right? Accurate is simply correct or exactly. Number 13, mandatory. So this is any action or any act that is required from you by the law. For example, it is mandatory for every employee who is below 65 years old and above 15 years old to pay NAPSA. It's mandatory for you. Number 14, item. So an item is a piece from a list of things. Number 15 is reduce. To reduce is to make something smaller. Number 16, a query. A query is just a question, but mostly this word is used when somebody has got a doubt, somebody is not sure. For example, after we prepare the salaries and we issue the pay slips, some of the miners will come to our office with a pay query, with a question about their pay, a pay query. Why? Because they think maybe something is wrong on the pay slips. Rate. Rate is specific price for something. Number 18 is interact. Interacting is what we're doing right now. I ask a question, you answer, we interact. We are involved with each other. Number 19 is deadline. What is a deadline? The last time that you have to do something. Welfare, it means the health and happiness of a person. So we need to be healthy physically and mentally. So what does concentrate mean?
Concentrate, just to focus on something?
Yes, to focus on something. You are right. Concentrate, maybe at CCS we use it mostly, copper concentrate. Yes, that's why in English a word can mean different things depending on the situation. We have cashiers in our department. The cashiers are in charge of receiving and making payments on behalf of the company. They are in charge of managing the petty cash. Yes, we have that cash which we keep that is used to make day-to-day payments, maybe for a business trip, to pay for transport allowance or lunch allowance. That is the petty cash. They make payments. It can be either through cash or through bank transfer. In our department, when you are coming to request for a payment or request for money, to ask for money, we have a number of documents that we use. We have the petty cash loan note, we have the payment voucher, expenses of business trip, and the payment requisition. So here I have examples of the petty cash loan note. You will use this to request for a loan in dollar. This is a payment voucher. When you get your loan, you're coming back to clear. You have to clear your loan. Bring your receipts so that you can prove to finance that you actually used that money at your business trip. When you come back, you fill in this form, attach your receipts, and then you submit it to finance. This is used to request for a loan in Kwacha. And this one is used to clear the loan that you got in Kwacha. Okay, so this is the payment requisition. So this is the same as the one we just did, the previous, except that this one is for dollar. Okay, so the next section is on taxation. CCS has various tax obligations. We have an obligation towards the government of the Republic of Zambia to pay these taxes. So we have income tax, value-added tax, withholding tax, pay-as-you-earn, and mineral royalty. So income tax is tax that is paid on the profits that the company makes. So the finance department, at the beginning of the year, they will estimate, at the beginning of the year, you divide it into 4. And you're going to pay it at 4 different times during the year. Those 4 different times when you're paying, it's called provisional income tax. Now we talk about the value-added tax. This is tax that is charged on goods, so goods or services, and the rate that is charged is 16%. Materials that we buy, we call them inputs, but output mostly it relates to items that attract VAT. There is a law that requires us to have these features on an invoice. So the important features, the title, not only invoice. Tax invoice, it's very important. And the customer name, supplier name, invoice number, invoice date, tipping, taxpayer identification number, the customer's address, supplier's address, the currency, then the exchange rate. And you also need to see a clear description on the invoice. So I have put an example of our own invoice here. You see, this invoice is very correct. Like in this situation, we are the supplier. So Chambishi Copper Smelter Limited, supplier name. The title, tax invoice is there. The tipping is there. The invoice number is there, pre-printed, as in it has been printed before. The customer name, customer tipping. Of course, the amount in words and amounts in figures. It's important that they put limited because that is our company name. They should put the full name, Chambishi Copper Smelter Limited. You know, ZRA, the rules, they are very strict. If an auditor sees Chambishi Copper Smelter only, maybe that day the auditor is feeling good, he will allow the invoice. But tomorrow another auditor will come and find, they will disallow that invoice and you lose money. So it's important that they follow the rules. If you see someone has just put invoice on the title, make sure they do not charge VAT. It means their revenue is below 800,000 and they are not registered for VAT. So here I'm talking about withholding VAT. So ZRA introduced a law which said that some suppliers should not pay VAT directly to ZRA. They should keep it and pay it directly to ZRA. So withholding tax is tax that is paid on interest, royalties, management consultancy fees, this one, and commissions. Pay as you earn. It is an income tax, but for individuals. ZRA has a system of calculating pay. These are called tax bands. So the payroll, I'll go through this one quickly. The finance department, we are in charge of calculating the salaries for the employees. And this calculation of salaries actually starts from HR. HR collects the most important data, which is the time. And we have other forms of data that we collect to be able to calculate salaries, like loan deduction, penalties, bonuses, leave and gratuity. Now I'm talking about NAPSA. NAPSA is a mandatory payment for every employee in Zambia from the age of 15 years old up to the age of 65 years old. As long as you're still in active employment, you need to pay NAPSA. I'm saying 65 because this is the late retirement age, because you can choose to retire at 60 if you want. So we have early retirement, which is 55 years old, normal retirement, which is 60 years old, and late retirement, which is 65. The total is 10%, but 5% is deducted from your salary, and 5% is contributed for you by the employer. It is a statutory payment. Statutory means it is a law. So every new employee is supposed to fill in a NAPSA registration form. The important details are a passport number, and in case of us, the Zambians, it's NRC number, date of birth, your full names, your parents' details, and your beneficiary details if you have any wife or children. Thank you so much for your attention and for your participation. This is good night from Dalia, Finance Department.